It has been 14 months since our power grid failed, leaving millions in the dark and ultimately killing hundreds. Does it make your eye want to twitch seeing this again? You know, the inability of our power plants to perform in extreme cold was the #1 cause of the outages last year. In that time, state leaders set out to ensure that something like this would never happen again. We have a new leader over at ERCOT, along with the complete overhaul of its leadership and also new legislation. In the state, they say they're holding true to its word, making a promise to never leave Texans in the dark and cold again, like what we saw in February. A portion of Senate Bill 3, the state's plan to improve our power grid, is ready to go live. It is an electricity supply chain map, and its main job will help the powers that be pinpoint outage sources. Jonathan and I understand that the Railroad Commission is part of this. Explain where they come in.
Yeah, Tatum, so the Railroad Commission and the PWC, or the Railroad Commission, they oversee the energy industry, in this case natural gas, and they're working in hand with the Public Utility Commission to keep tabs on all power generators in the state so that in the case of an emergency, they can get the lights and the heat back on as soon as possible. We've seen how devastating power outages can be during weather emergencies. Last year's winter storm, anyone? But now, a plan to prevent that is coming into focus. It's the first ever electricity supply chain map.
It maps out more than 65,000 critical points in the electricity supply chain. Everything from places where oil and gas producers pull natural gas out of the ground, pushes through the pipelines to the electricity generation plants, and then from the electricity generation plants out through the transmission lines and distribution lines to people's homes.
The goal? Using the map to pinpoint where the outage is and fix it faster.
We can contact the company, we can talk to somebody, assess the situation, see what kind of resources might be necessary to repair something, and it speeds it up significantly.
The PUC isn't alone on this issue. They're working hand in hand with the Railroad Commission.
Obviously, the Public Utility Commission regulate electric utilities, which include the transmission lines, the power generation plants. Railroad Commission has regulatory authority over natural gas supply, natural gas production, and natural gas transportation through pipelines. And the natural gas is the fuel that electric generation plants, many of these plants need to generate power.
Even though the map will be extensive, it will continue to be updated with new information.
This is a living map. This is going to be updated at least 2 times a year. So as different facilities or different pieces of equipment go offline, or different pieces of equipment come online, it will stay current with the electric supply chain.
Now, one thing that we haven't mentioned in all of this, ERCOT. Parsons tells me that they are part of the mapping committee and are playing an important role in all of this as well. Now, something else to point out, this map is not like the Encore outage map. You will not be able to freely access it. Only the state's emergency management team will. Tatum?